Billboard have done their top 100 hip-hop rap albums of all time, and I just wanted to discuss it. Just run through it real quick, and I'm gonna go straight into it and give you my point of view. Coming in at number 100, Lil Baby, My Turn. Straight away, look, I respect Lil Baby, I like him, but this album shouldn't be, I don't believe, in the top 100. 99 came E40 in a major way. I'm not gonna say I'm familiar with E40's albums like that. I know he's a legend. I know he did a lot for hip hop in terms of slang and style, Bay Area and all that, but I think that's okay. 99. Do or Die, Picture This. Not familiar with them. 97, Ghetto Boys, We Can't Be Stopped. Yeah, definitely the Ghetto Boys has to be on the list. Run DMC, Raising Hell. 96. That's before my time, but yeah, Run DMC have to be on the list. Whether they should be higher or not, I'm sure they'll have another album that is higher. 95, LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out. I actually thought this album would be a lot higher. I know it was big, and it's big at the time. 1990 it came out. Had that monster song, Mama Gonna Knock You Out. EPMD, Business As Usual, that comes at 94. I thought that was a classic album for them. I'm surprised it's at 94. Are there 93 albums better? Seems like it should be higher. 93 is BG, Chopper City in the Ghetto. Not the biggest BG fan, but I know BG, people love BG, especially down south. One of those guys people say, he's a real one. 92, 3 6 Mafia, Mystic Styles. Not the biggest 3 6 Mafia fan, so I'm not familiar with that album. Migos, Culture. Definitely not a Migos fan. I'm sorry, people. You know, I respect what they did to the game. They changed the game. They had their time. They had their lane. I definitely wouldn't put a Migos album on the top 100. It's just not my style. Number 90 is The Far Side, Bizarre Ride to The Far Side. Big fan of The Far Side. Definitely they need to be on the list, 100%. 89, Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Definitely has to be on this list. I would have thought this would be actually a bit higher. 88, Ice-T, OG Original Gangster. Not terribly familiar with Ice-T's albums, but he's a pioneer in gangster rap, that's for sure. 87, The Roots, Things Fall Apart. This was a wicked album. I like this album a lot. I liked it a lot. I think it should be much higher than 87. That's a bit of a travesty. 86, The Game, The Documentary. So when I got this album, I was so excited. It did not disappoint. It was a very good album. I think this should be higher. 85, Outkast. I will struggle to say this. Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. There we go. That's a mouthful. Alright, yeah. Yeah, I thought this would be a lot higher as well. This is like their debut album. It kind of changed the southern music. 84, DOC, a great writer. Not familiar with his albums. 83 is Diplomats, The Diplomatic Immunity. I thought this was more of a mixtape. It is a groundbreaking one though for them. This is what kind of created the Dipset sound. 82, MC Lyte, Light as a Rock. Big fan of MC Lyte. I thought this album would be a lot higher, to be honest. 81, Missy Elliott, Missy So Addictive. This was a massive album. This was really cool. It had like Get Your Freak On. This was actually a wicked album. It had almost every song was like a single. I think this would 100% be in the top 50 or top 30, I would say. Roddy Ricch, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. Please forgive me, Roddy Ricch, you should not be in the top 100. I'm a big fan of his singles, to be fair, but not in an album sense, no way. It shouldn't even be on the list. Travis Scott, Astro World. I know Travis Scott's a big star, big guy out there. I do like his music. I'm undecided with this one. I think it should be in the top 100. I do believe so. I think it was a decent album. 78 is Mad Villain. I don't know this guy. Mad Villainy is the album. Yeah, not too familiar. Actually, I'm not familiar with this guy at all, so can't comment. 8Ball and MJG coming out hard at number 77. Legendary group. Can't fault them for being on the list. Not the biggest fan of them. Obviously, I am familiar with their music. Number 76 is Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill. I was a big fan of them when I was younger. So this is their debut album, I believe, if my memory serves me right. XXX Tentacion 17. Rest in peace to him, but I was never listening to him. He's after my time. You know, he was a lot younger. I wouldn't necessarily put him on the list though. 74, Chief Keef, Finally Rich. Chief Keef holds Chirac. He's a groundbreaking artist, but I wouldn't put him on the list, to be honest with you, personally. 73, Redman, Muddy Waters. Redman has to be on the list. This album, I personally am not so familiar with this album, but we all know it is a strong album. 72, Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost. This guy's probably one of the most creative artists probably to come out in the last 20 years in hip-hop. He arguably could be number one, but I'm not sure which one of his albums it is, but definitely one of his albums has to be in the top 100. Number 71, Lil Uzi Vert, Love Is Rage 2. Not the biggest Uzi Vert fan. He probably wouldn't make my top 100. Mos Def, Black on Both Sides. Great album. Big songs. Just quality hip-hop music. I would have put it in the top 50, personally. There's some great songs on there. There's one song called Light Speed or something Speed. I really like it. Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday at 69. I had this album. It was cool. I think that's a fair place actually. Maybe it should be a bit lower. But yeah, I can see that hitting the top 100 possibly. 68, The Throne, Watch the Throne by Jay-Z and Ye. Me personally, I always thought this was a very overrated collaboration or album. I know I stand alone there, but it had big songs, of course. I was in the club partying to all these songs, but nah, I think it's overrated. I wouldn't even put it in the list. 67, Lil Wayne, The Carter 3. I'm surprised it's this low. I thought this would be a lot higher because this is his biggest album, his most iconic album in my opinion. This is what he did up. Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot higher. Coming 66, Cameron, Come Home With Me. I'm surprised this is above Wayne's album. I mean, they both came out kind of the same kind of period in hip hop, within a 3 or 4 year of each other. How is Carter 3 behind this one? Don't quite get it. 65, T.I. Trap Music. I like this album. I think this was his first album. Could have been his second, but yeah, this was a good album. Should be higher. Warren G, Regulate, G-Funk Era, 64. I believe this should be higher. That was a great album. That was a wicked album. Too many great songs on there. 63, A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. Has to be top 20. What's going on here? What's going on here, people? Wow. DJ Quick at 62 with Rhythmalism. Shows you I'm not familiar with this album. But yeah, DJ Quick's good. 61, UGK, Riding Dirty. Yeah, you gotta have UGK on here. 60, Lil Wayne, The Carter 2. I do hear a lot of people say this is his best album. I'm not surprised it's on the list. 59, J. Cole, 2014, Forest Hills Drive. Now this was a good album. I liked it at the time. I think it's fairly placed. 59, I think that's decent. 58, Nipsey Hussle, Victory Lap. Can't complain with that. People do talk about that album a lot. It's a great album. 57, Nas, It Was Written, Travesty. How can this be 57? This has got to be top 30. Nas, It Was Written. Some people say this is better than Illmatic. No way that should be that high. Should be much higher on the list. 56, Jizza, Liquid Swords. I think it has a respectable position. I think it could be top 50, but you can't nitpick. 55, Outkast, Stankonia. This was like the album I feel for them took him to the commercial level. With Sorry Miss Jackson. I think 55 is decent for them. 54, Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. Wow. I think this should be higher. Personally, it's my favorite Kendrick album. I think this deserves to be top 30. 53, Drake, Nothing Was the Same. It's hard to pick with Drake. His albums are never the greatest. He's more of a guy that does great commercial songs. But nothing was the same. I like the album. I think it's fairly placed. Could be in the 40s. But I can't nitpick there. Common B. This is a wicked album. Definitely like the top 10 rap albums in the last 20 years. 20 some odd years. 25 years maybe. I believe this should be higher. I think this should be top 40 personally. I think that's Common's best album. 51, Queen Latifah, All Hail the Queen. Before my time, but yo, like the title said, hail that queen.